Ask Women by Brown Girl says, what screams entitlement in a man? Anytime I hear a man talking about the friend zone, I agree. I feel like expecting sex just because you're a straight man and it's immature, but doing almost nothing to impress or attract the opposite sex is just entitlement personified. Expecting sex if he does something nice for me. One of my favorite analogies is that women are not vending machines you put kindness coins in until sex falls out. Complaining about friend zone. Complaining about modern women. The ones that feel like they own you because they bought you a drink. Expecting to be praised for doing the bare minimum. Very common. Complaining about women's standards, telling women to lower their standards. Trying to take credit for other men's accomplishments in a way to justify certain attitudes towards women. For example, women should do this because us men go to war. A man that has never been to war. Holy shit. So glad you pointed out the last one. I see that dumb shit all the time. Men taking credit for other men's accomplishments. Like because a man invented the telephone, they act like they invented the telephone cause they also share a commonality of a penis. When one thinks and implies we owe him attention just because he complimented hit on us, and gets mad when we're not interested and simply want to be alone. When he thinks he deserves sex, a romantic relationship, a woman's time because he was nice to her, and thinking being a decent human being, which he fails at anyway, due to his sense of entitlement, means he should get anything he wants from women. My favorite is when they compliment you and you agree that yes, you are hot, sexy, act, and the incoherent rage they flow into because you don't say thank you. Fragile much? When they expect women to fix men's problems in society. For example, why don't women build shelters for men? Men don't get enough compliments, so women should compliment them more. Women should be fixing men's mental health issues, etc. This is a huge one and it's disturbingly common. The joke of it is they will later put women down by reminding us that men built society. Thinking they are entitled to the time and attention of random women they are attracted to at any time, under any circumstances. Hating women because they can't get casual sex, or a date on demand. Yes, good lord. The number of men who have approached me on the street when I am clearly going somewhere and then got mad when I wouldn't give them my name or have a conversation is frightening. Insinuating that there are certain tasks that must always be done by women, and therefore not putting any effort in girl tasks themselves. Or doing the bare minimum in girl tasks and expecting to be praised for it. These men are terrible at living by themselves. Because they don't know how to clean or do anything like that. I think it's funny if they are going to be stupid willingly, then let them suffer. The belief that they're too good for average women and all deserve to date hot women who look like supermodels, especially when they look like Shrek. This right here. I see this all the time. Assumes a rape victim is a liar immediately. I'd add assuming any woman who keeps the baby scheme to baby trap the man instead of their friend being bad about using condoms. When they scream at their mother or disrespect her. This is the biggest red flag and one I ignored. Normally a learned behavior or reaction to witnessing a bad marriage. Just run, ladies. Having a laundry list of requirements for a woman yet can barely meet the bare minimum himself. Beware the sneaky ones, disproportionately altruistic in the beginning only to demand something in return later. Ah yes, the transactional helper. The very casual way some men joke about not caring for their children. Example, I'm not touching our kid till they're out of diapers. The fact that they can even joke about something like this. Sitting on his ass watching someone else work. When they shit talk women in general cause they had one bad experience with an ex. For example, you're not like most women I've met. You're actually nice. Yeah? K bye hun. I once had a guy get shitty with me on a dating site due to not answering his DM within a half hour, and then when I told him we won't work goodbye he started ringing me through off. It was awful. Started leaving audio clips. Had to block him in the end. You are not entitled to my time just because you decide you are. There's also financially speaking. I knew a guy that looked down on people who use charity shops. Sierra. The expectation that a woman will adopt their husband's surname upon marriage. A friend of mine hyphenated to his wife's surname and she hyphenated to his. I thought that was a really nice way to do it. Assuming a woman needs instruction or advice on how to do something she has successfully been doing her whole life. Or assuming a woman is incapable of using power tools. I'm a nice guy, so why can't I get a girlfriend, someone to love me, etc. Just screams that you are not a nice guy. When they scan me from head to toe like I'm a piece of meat. Ah yes, the whole up down look. Ugh. Trying to control who your friends are and when you can see them. When a group of women are talking and the man takes center stage immediately. Men who get married with hidden intention of making their wives do all the house chores. If you asked him to clean he will say stop nagging, yet he's not cleaning anything. Those are the ones who always say stop nagging but then ask why you didn't remind them to do something. Because you would have called it nagging then. When they expect you to fix their problems. Always correcting me, overly pedantic. Using language that implies that women are shallow for choosing a gym bro over him. Like if I'm going to choose between arseholes, might as well choose a straightforward good looking one, right? And any language that shames women for having any sort of standard for the men she dates. For example, she only dates tall guys, only dates guys with money. When I hear this I always think you and when he's pushy and doesn't respect my boundaries or even cares if he makes me uncomfortable. Blatantly checking out women. Not being able to engage in friendly conversation. Not having empathy, cheering for you when you succeed. Not keeping their domain in good condition. Not caring about the current human rights violations, supporting the human rights violations. I work in a male-dominated field, so I meet lots of men when they are surrounded by other men. One of the things that always indicates someone to be wary of is when they say hello to me and then immediately launch into some messy personal business with the male co-worker who's introducing me around. Not like a hey man did you catch the game last night, but more like a hey man I saw that girl Pamela again. No matter what he goes on to say about Pamela, the fact that he's brought it up in that moment is always a dead giveaway that he's a bratty asshole. Always. As a woman who also has worked on mostly male teams the majority of my career, I didn't think of this right away, but you are spot on. Men that refuse to date any women that is not thin and beautiful but they look like a bag of potatoes and have a shitty personality. On top of that, these men have the audacity to think the women that are like this that would date them shouldn't be dating them for their money. Dude, you need to have something to offer. This really is so crazy. Women today are expected to be educated, financially independent, fit, conventionally attractive, which all requires a huge amount of work. And yet men haven't caught up and realized that women don't need them and they need to bring something to the table besides being a nice guy and having a job. Talks about babysitting their own children. Says their wife girlfriend is well trained. Shows any sort of learned helplessness. Every grown human should be able to do basic cooking and cleaning for themselves, including laundry and dishes. They should also be able to grocery shop for themselves. I called out a sales guy for saying he had to babysit his kids. I said, "Oh nice. What's your hourly rate?" He just smirked at me because he knew exactly what I was saying. Gets personally offended when you tell him no. Oh, but nobody is holding back women from doing what they want. Either he has grown up in a very nice environment or he has simply ignored how usually people closest to a woman hold her back the most. I helped her do insert household chore. He is not helping her. He is doing his bit. If he treats other people badly, especially people who someone would look down upon if they happen to be entitled, such as waiters, waitresses, cashiers, taxi drivers, etc. When I say no and there's a stupid discussion. When he interrupts you or talks over you. He thinks your opinions are inferior. Constantly commenting on women's looks unprovoked. Girls with short hair are gross. I only like girls that wear no makeup. I prefer girls in a hoodie. I don't know why so many men are entitled for women to appeal to their gaze. Half the time their words don't even line up and the women aren't doing it for them. Generally commenting on what he doesn't like in a random woman's look, or looking at each piece of clothing and commenting on it like he's reviewing her. Lol, like sit down, no one cares. Touching me without asking. Any kind of touching. Any guy that complains that people don't like me because I tell it how it is a guy that was never taught to keep some thoughts to himself. Expecting his wife, mother or daughter to make his lunches, cook for him and clean for him, seemingly all because he WKs. One for me personally is I'm not a romantic. Most men I meet who say this absolutely want you to be romantic. They just don't want to put any effort in on their part. Whether it's for something romantic or something basic like cleaning up after themselves. I know some people are genuinely not romantic though. They usually just got other things going on though and aren't so selfish about everything. Complaining about feminism. When he automatically assumes I'm attracted to him because he finds me attractive and then proceeds to treat me like an object. Going 50/50 on finances but not on the cooking, cleaning, childcare, celebrating birthdays and special occasions, and other work in the relationship. 50/50 means you do your fair share of everything. If you are willing to split the burden of who provides, that's fine because gender roles are BS, but you better step up in all the other areas too. Not doing so means you think you are entitled to free labor and care work without reciprocation. And not stepping up 10% or better than your father but doing genuinely half the work without reminded or told what to do. When they refuse to clean up after themselves, even if in a small way like taking their used plates to the kitchen or putting daily objects back in place etc. When they go to a family gatherings or to friends party, they show up empty-handed, then do nothing to help the host during the party. Well, it just screams entitlement. And they're totally oblivious to it, which is the funny part, especially if they think they have a chance with me. I imagine